Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Phil Lindsay. A lot of times I'll try to have like witty banter with my co-host, and or I'll try to have like some sort of clever or funny intro to these things, especially on the 6M. And oftentimes I'll just kind of mock people, not like harshly. I never call anyone out by name. It's not my style. I could, but I'm not gonna. But no, usually, man, if I've got something snarky to say, I'll say it. I'll be sarcastic, be a little bit of a smart mouth or whatever. Because I was going to kick this show off today complaining about how people complain about things being too woke. And I thought, no, don't do it. There's no need to go there. So I won't go there. But here's what I'll tell you. I appreciate everyone listening to the shows and watching the videos and subscribing on the YouTube and following the podcast on all the podcast platforms. I do very much appreciate it. When we get good comments, we get great feedback. It's all very much appreciated. We get criticism too, like every channel does. And some of it's well-intentioned and some of it's just, trolling. It is what it is. So I appreciate my audience. And so none of you listening or, to this or anything that we've ever done here should be offended by what I'm going to say right now. Because really, it shouldn't pertain to you. And also, if you do get offended, maybe it does pertain to you. So maybe it's time to, take a look in the mirror. I won't answer for you. That'll be up to you whether or not you do those things. But here's what I'll tell you. Stop with the everything is woke nonsense. The word has lost all meaning. We've talked about that here on the show. Phil and I especially have covered this ad nauseum multiple times. All right. The word has lost all meaning. It's lost all impact. And you guys see the thumbnail, you know what we're going to talk about here today, and you know where I'm coming from, where I'm going to get at here. We're going to cover the Superman film, and I've already talked about this on other pods here on the channel, but this will be the first time we've covered it and actually reviewed it here on the 6M. And I'm a fan of this film. There's nothing woke going on. So if you showed up to this review expecting to have your belief that this is woke, to have that validated, you came to the wrong place. But if you're level-headed, if you'd like to hear the other side of it, I encourage you to stick around and listen because, we're going to give you an honest review and maybe, just maybe, open your eyes a bit if they are indeed closed and help you understand why we believe this film is not woke. It's not taking jabs, no more than anything else ever really has at any point in time. And guess what, kids? If you disagree, if you have a different viewpoint now or later, that's fine. You don't need to agree with everything I say. You got your own brain, use it. It's fine with me. But just keep an open mind. It's not really that hard. I try to do it every day. I'm not perfect. None of us are. But for goodness sake, it's just entertainment. So before we dig in, I'm not trying to sound all serious all of a sudden. Before we dig in, let's do this. Superman is a 2025 American superhero film based on the DC Comics icon. Written and directed by James Gunn, it serves as both a reboot of the Superman film series and the first installment of the new DC universe. David Corenswet takes on the role of Clark Kent Superman. He's joined by a fantastic cast, which we're going to get into here today. This film follows Superman as he faces unexpected fallout after stepping into an international crisis secretly orchestrated by billionaire Lex Luthor. With public opinion turning against him, he must regain the world's trust with help from his fellow heroes and his colleagues of the Daily Planet. This movie, as we said, written and directed by James Gunn, it's also produced by Gunn and Peter Safran under DC Studios. The film sets the stage for the DCU's cinematic future. And boy, does it ever. As we said, this is the 2025 film. It was released at the TCL Chinese Theater on July 7th and in the United States, July 11th, 2025. Running time's 129 minutes. And the budget for this film, $225 million. The box office so far is pushing $560 million. And that, kids, is your lowdown on Superman. So, Phil, we were talking off mic about the whole woke bit, and I feel like you and I talk it to death. But it's just happening all the time, and people are just going nuts over stuff. But you and I both have seen this movie, so we're going to give honest reviews and critiques here today, as we always do. What is your impression out of the gate? And is this movie woke?
Uh, no. I just wish people would stop. I wish people would stop using that word. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
I people use the word incorrectly. And it's dumb. I find it very fascinating how there's this constant refrain of we don't want politics in entertainment, we don't want politics in football or whatever else. But their way of thinking has seeped into almost every form of entertainment and their critique of every form of entertainment that's happening right now. So it's weird. It's weird for them to be like, keep this stuff out of the entertainment we love, but you guys can't seem to stop talking about, your political beliefs or, you know, the way you believe everybody else should think or believe.
Mm.
It's crazy. And a character like Superman has always had politics as a part of his books. That's what's so funny as well. Every time people try to do this, keep politics out of comic books. Politics have always been in comic books, depending on the subject matter. X-Men always been a part of X-Men comics. Captain America always been a part of them.
Hmm.
Green Lantern, so many comics where politics were a part of those books.
Always. Comic books have never shied away from world events, from real stories, from real people, from real issues. Marvel's done it primarily better than any other publisher, but DC's went there when they turned Speedy into a junkie. I've got those issues of Green Lantern and Green Arrow. I mean, those were milestones for that company because no one had ever
Yeah.
really seen anything like that before. They tackled it. So, I mean, comics have never run from controversial topics or politics, as you said, man. Well, look, I don't want to spend the whole show just lamenting how weird people can be. I was going to use another word. I'm keeping it nice. How weird people can be. But, it's just hard to talk about this film or basically anything else that you happen to enjoy, or maybe you don't like it at all, but it's still hard to not reference it because basically every single thing now has the woke label slapped to it. I don't remember the last thing I watched that didn't have someone claiming that word was involved. I'm like, let's say you're right and there is some massive liberal agenda out there. Do you really think it's on every single thing produced through Hollywood? Are we kidding ourselves? Like, so there's no Trumpers in Hollywood, not one Republican in the cast. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Dude, Phil, when you start to really poke holes in this thing, it just all falls apart.
It's silly. It's silly. You tell people that you shouldn't want your politics or yourself reflected back to you in this media, but also you want what you believe reflected back to you in these things.
Mm.
So which one is it?
Yeah, you're offended because a black man's cast in a lead role, but if it was a white man, you wouldn't have anything to say about it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, we got that out of the way. I'm sure it'll come up more as we talk here today, kids. But let's get to this movie because holy cow, that's what you came here for, and we got some stuff to say. Right off the bat, you and I saw the trailers for this film. We both said the same thing. Holy God, this thing looks amazing. Did this film deliver for you overall?
I think it's excellent. Um, it took me a minute to actually get to go see it for one reason or another.
Hmm.
But once I finally got to see it, I was like, this is incredible. Great movie going experience. If you have not got a chance to see it at a movie theater, you should. Um, I I confidently would say that I think it's the best Superman movie ever.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you and I both are fans of the original with Christopher Reeve for sure, and part two. But look, if we're talking about the most faithful to the source material, it has to be this movie. I think you're right. It has to be this film, doesn't it?
Yes. In terms of uh, getting a Superman that already is in a lived in world that already has metahumans in it, that already has all this stuff. We don't have to do the origin story. This already feels like a established Superman in a lived in DC universe. We've never gotten this. This is the closest to comic accurate Superman in terms of the action and everything else. It's very close. I mean, there are certain things as someone that was not a fan of Man of Steel that was just like, yeah, this is right. This is what we wanted to see.
And let's go ahead and address this out the gate because there's a whole lot of wacky Zack Snyder people. By the way, guys, you may be in a cult, but there's a lot of wacky Zack Snyder people. I'm just saying, and who hate this, who hate everything about it. And I'm like, you know, I like Henry Cavill as much as the next guy. And if none of those movies had happened and he were cast here, he's a solid, solid actor.
Yes.
I'm not saying this hit wouldn't have been a success with him in the lead. I'm not even suggesting that at all. But I think that Corenswet is fantastic in this role, man. I think they got the right guy. This is the right Superman for 2025 moving forward. You think?
Yeah, he's great. I think that he nailed all of the stuff that you want out of Superman. He's imperfect. He's flawed. He clearly cares about doing the right thing. He cares about what people think of him. And that's what we should get out of Superman. It shouldn't just be like this, like impersonal, standoffish God. He should be somebody that lives amongst us, but understands that he has the power to make real change in the world.
Mm. Yeah, that voice. And man, if you showed me a picture of him as Clark Kent and then showed me a picture of him as Superman, I'm sure I'd be able to tell you it's the same guy. But buddy, I think the difference made between the two is one of the best that we've ever seen, no matter what the medium, whether it's TV or streamers or movies or whatever. He looks great. Again, right height, right build.
Yeah,
He looks like the Superman from the comics and the All-Star Superman, doesn't he?
yeah. He looks believable as like a corn-fed, um, down-to-earth guy from Kansas.
Yeah.
The way he speaks as Superman and the way he speaks as Clark,
Mm.
they fit. And I agree. Like when he does the great scene with Lois Lane, where he agrees to do the interview and he sits down and sits upright and changes his voice, it's perfect.
It's great. Yeah. He inhabits the character just as much as Christopher Reeve did. And Christopher Reeve had a gift for becoming Clark and then becoming Superman. So I can't say that Cornsweat topped it, but I would say maybe he matched it. I mean, it's that good. I think it's that good.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think he's incredible in this movie. Um, it never feels like he's being like a jokey banter Superman because that's not what we know Superman of. And I know people had reservations about that when they saw James Gunn attached to this, but I think he did just enough to make him charming and like witty and all these other things as Superman. Even when he has his speech with Lex
Mm.
towards the end of the movie, it's what you want out of Superman. He doesn't have like this speech that makes him sound cool. He has this speech that is very human and very cheesy in some ways. Like that's how Superman should speak.
Yeah, when he busts through that building and takes Lex down, and then he starts when he started talking, dude, I was like, okay, this feels weird. But then when he got halfway through it, I was like, "No, I think I'm okay with this." I was almost taken out, but then he brought it home. I'm like, "This is a heck of a time to give a speech." But you know
Yeah.
what? Instead of gnashing his teeth and blasting the place to apart with his heat vision, I'm like, "Guys, that's not the Snyder Superman. this is the other version of Superman. He's not going to be that guy. He's not there to hurt anybody or destroy property. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, dude, I'm with you. It could have been hokey and cheesy, but I thought he pulled it off, man.
And if it was hokey and cheesy, it's supposed to be. It's Superman.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
and so I mean, when he burst into the office and he's looking for crypto and he's yelling at him like, "Where's the dog?" I saw some people being upset about that, and again, that fits who Superman is. It isn't like he just burst in there and started like trying to hang him out the window or like threatening him with his heat vision. He came in there about him possibly hurting another living thing, and so he was upset.
Yeah. I love when he tells her he's going to turn himself in. And he mentions the dog. He mentions crypto. And he says, well, he's not even really that great of a dog. But he's like, he's alone and he's probably scared.
Yeah.
And, dude, that's why he turned himself in. And I'm thinking that's Superman. That is what Superman would do 100%.
Yeah, all of the stuff mid fights where he stopped to save people, exceptionally well done.
Yeah.
When he's fighting the big kaiju monster and he punches it, flies to his back to make sure he doesn't fall on a building. At every turn, he's trying to make sure that people are safe. Saved a squirrel. At every
Yes.
chance is trying to make sure every living being, including the kaiju, was not harmed.
He was upset they killed it because he wanted to send it to a museum
Yes, which fits his character
or a
to a
zoo.
T.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Isn't that great? Like they made him he's the alien and he's the most human character in the entire film.
Yes. I believe it's the animated series where he is bringing all of those aliens and things back to his base and keeping
Mhm,
them in the zoo, right?
mhm. Yes.
And I immediately thought about that when he said that.
Yeah, he's and you and I have spoke many times here on the show about how Marvel is able to hit those emotional beats because the source material in the source material, the costumes and the heroes were secondary to the people who became the heroes.
Yes,
And we said for a long time Superman shouldn't be this hard to do, but you got to find a way to make him relatable. Phil, I think they pulled that off here.
he was great. His parents felt like people from Kansas.
Yes.
I love that. I think this is like the first time we've seen in live action where it was two people that felt like they really lived in Kansas.
And they look like real people.
Yes, they looked and acted like real people. And we didn't see that much of him with his parents. We saw like small glimpses of it, but they did such good job of showing how much those two people loved him, like
Oh, yeah.
unconditionally. It's so good. I mean, when he's sitting there disappointed, because the recording that he had of his real parents that he held close to him throughout the entire movie, and he found out that it wasn't what he thought he was, and his father comes out and tells him like, your parents don't make you who you are, your decisions make you who you are. And
Yeah.
he gives an old speech and he's sitting there tearing up and he's like, I couldn't be more proud of you. It's
Oh
such
my
a
god.
great moment. It's just such it's what you want their relationship to be. It shouldn't be any of this fear mongering around what his powers are and whatever are. It doesn't matter if you're different. Your decisions make you who you are.
That wrecked me. That wrecked me in the theater, dude. Like I couldn't help it. Whew. Such a great moment, man. Yeah, his mom sounds like my mom. My mom's an old Southern mom here, right? So she sounds a lot like her, and yeah, it was
They-
such good stuff.
Um, yeah, I've had to tell my dad multiple times, like, you don't have to yell into the phone. You could just put the phone up to your ear and talk into it. I can
Yeah,
hear
right,
you.
right, right. Yeah,
And so, like, her having the phone on the table and talking into it, I'm like, I've seen so many older people in my family do that. I'm like, you don't have to do that. Just put the phone close to your face and talk.
right, dude. It's freaking great because she's yelling into the phone on the table. It's wonderful. Oh my god, it's such great stuff, man. I love that what brought him comfort was looking at Jor-El and Laura. and the robots made sure to say that. And then at the end, they circled back to that and said, he wants to watch a video of his parents, and it's his adopted parents, man. Oh my God.
Man, that ending sequence was so great.
So awesome.
So
Holy
good.
God.
Just like all of those moments of him as a kid and just like the person that his parents raised him to be. It doesn't matter what the intent was for him coming to Earth.
Mm.
His parents made him who he is. And that's at its core is who Superman is. Superman is a person that believes in all the good in the world because his parents shielded him from that.
Mm.
His parents raised him to be a good person.
You have to land that ship with an older couple in Kansas.
Yes.
You have to, because if you land it anywhere else, and we've seen the Elseworld stuff through the years, but even if in one of those situations it works out, and most time it don't, right?
Yeah.
But there's a reason it doesn't, Phil, because like he gets grounded. You can't take a god and expect people to trust him if he acts like a god. He's got to be human. He's got to have a solid upbringing to be grounded, to be humbled, which is what he was.
Yes. Um, that's also what I think is so ironic about some of his culture war stuff and people being upset. There's nothing more American than this idea of a guy with good fundamentals and a good background because he was raised in Kansas on a farm.
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. I can't get over how well it's done, and the fact that again Cornsweat just stepped in and just took this. I love the fact that keeping the briefs on the outside of the suit was his idea,
Hmm.
and that because they weren't going to have them because they said Gunn said they were debating it, and he's the one that said it because he's like
It just don't look right.
right, and on top of that he said kids should be able to approach Superman, so he needs to look a little cartoony. He needs to look approachable.
Yes.
Like, dude, that's great. What a great call that was, man.
Yeah, but there's so many things that I love about this. When he beats the monster and he's standing there and the girl walks up to him and he picks her up and puts him on the shoulder and then all of the kids run up to him. That's Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? This is not a criticism of Chris Reeve at all, because you and I both know he's fantastic. Christopher Reeve was cool. He was suave to some degree,
Hmm.
insanely good looking. Cornsweat's kind of a nerd.
Yes.
Like, and I kind of like that. It's a different vibe. But like if you're a woman, you may or may not be crushing on him. He's not going to intimidate any dudes by his looks. So like he's just an everyman Superman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that's what he should be.
Yeah.
That's what he should be. Yeah, can't say enough about just how well Cornsweet did here, and just they, how much they differentiated this adaptation of Superman from other ones we've seen. And everybody's gonna have their favorites. Everybody's gonna, whether it be the '70s movies or whatever, Superman Returns or um, Man of Steel. I'm not here to defend anybody's preferences or to downplay anybody's preferences either and say you shouldn't like what you like. um but for me personally, I enjoyed this more than any other depiction of Superman we've gotten so far.
I thought it was it's a hit out of the park. It's out of the park. It's grand slam home run. That's what this movie is. And dude, talk about setting up the DCU. James Gunn deserves all the money that they can give him and then some. Because, buddy,
Yeah.
if Supergirl, if the story's half as good as this, or to a degree of it, then we're following suit. Supergirl, we have to mention. You give me a Supergirl who's going to planets with red sun so she can get drunk and she curses and she kind of is aloof with her powers and kind of doesn't get it the way her cousin does because she's not emotionally there yet. Dude, I'm so dialed in for that Supergirl movie. I didn't think I would be, but I so am now.
Yeah. Just a little bit we saw of her, I'm already interested in what they do. But yeah, I can't say enough great things about James Gunn as a director and a writer. He knows how to add heart to a movie. He knows how to add just the right of hopefulness. He knows how to tell human stories where even if people are loners or in a dark place like we got in the Guardians movies or a Peacemaker. He knows how to make them feel relatable. And this movie is not dark,
No,
but he gets to the heart of what makes Superman special. Um, and I mean, for my money, probably the the most well written depiction of Lex Luthor as well.
I would say it is. I would say it is. I think Michael Rosenbaum was great on Smallville, and for me, he was the definitive Lex Luthor, but not up to now, because I think Nicholas Hoult was fantastic. Like,
Yes,
and dude, I'm sure it caught you by surprise. But when he commits murder in that prison, everyone in the theater, you could feel people just recoil when that happened because we didn't expect that in a Superman film. But I
yes.
kind of feel like you need to do this because we need to know this is not a snarky Lex Luthor. This is someone you have to take seriously. He's diabolical and he's evil. That this is the
Yeah.
real deal this time, man. I thought he killed it in this movie, dude.
I was glad that as much as I love Gene Hackman in the 70s, fantastic. Rest in
Mm,
peace, of course, to Gene.
mhm.
Um, but we spent the last 20 to 30 years of people trying to reproduce what he did.
Yeah.
And I was so glad that we finally got a Lex that was not trying to do that. We got a Lex that was just a straightforward bad guy. And he's not trying to be funny. He's not being campy. He's not a Saturday morning cartoon villain that we're not sure if, when it comes down to it, he'll harm somebody. Nope, this guy is just a bad person um, at every
Mm.
turn. One of the best speeches he has in the movie is when he outright admits jealousy. He's like, I know that jealousy is a part of who I am. It drives me, but at least I could understand, I could stomach Galileo being praised because he did something special. And he's just like, there's nothing special about you. What makes you the guy to be praised? And just at every turn, I'm like, this all fits with the human experience of like, why are we to be praising this alien that can come down here and punch things? I'm smarter than him. I'm what we
Right.
should be aspiring to. I should be the American dream.
Oh my god. The jealousy, the envy. Yeah, dude. Like a petulant child because the spotlight's not on him.
Yeah, so good. From very beginning, he is fantastic, man. A great casting in Nick Holt. Um, he did an incredible job. I mean, he does a good job of making Lex Luthor immature and petulant, childish, um, intelligent, ruthless. He's fantastic.
He is. He's so good. He was perfect choice. Absolutely perfect choice. And you know that bit we mentioned earlier where Superman flies in the building and throws him up against the wall and kind of manhandles him? Kids, for everybody out there who defended those Snyder movies and said Superman didn't have a choice but to kill and X, Y, and Z, Lex Luthor is not dead in this movie.
No,
But because Superman, spoiler, knows his own strength, Phil.
yeah,
He knows how hard he can throw you, how firm he can touch you, and not kill you.
yeah. Even even the climax of the movie when Lex was beaten, he didn't touch him. He just stood there.
Yes.
He could have easily got a cheap punch in, but he didn't. He knew he had already lost. It was over.
Yeah.
And in that moment where he hems him up about crypto, once he realized he wasn't going to tell him where the dog was, he just left. He didn't try to threaten his life or try to like throw him through a wall or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wish people could just calm down about the other stuff because, like, everything's here. Everything's just. And James Gunn, again, give this guy all the money because he set your universe back on track. I mean, the thing I'll tell you, because it's a very much a Guardians of the Galaxy thing, is like a found family, right?
Yes.
Like you don't have a family or your family's not what you maybe wanted it to be. Here's a new family, and it's your family of friends and colleagues and people that you really care about. Like, we've said for a long time that first Guardians film had no business working. That first Guardians film could have been laughed off the screen and been the dumbest thing we ever saw. But because James Gunn knows how to do this and knows how to make these films and is a great writer, it worked. And I think that family element is something that in this movie is very much harkening back to the Guardian stuff, man.
Yes, I think his found family at the Daily Planet and his adoptive parents is a big part of this.
Mm, for sure. We've not mentioned Lois. This is Rachel Brosnahan as Lois. She is also great, buddy. When you see her and Corenswet on screen together, you're like, "Yep, that screen test must have went very well because they look like they fit together, man."
Yeah, she was also very, very good. The interview in question that we talked about, that scene was like 12 minutes, which it did not seem like it was 12 minutes because it breezed
Didn't.
by. Um, Very well written, great dialogue. They had great chemistry together. And I thought that she played such a great foil to what makes Superman Superman. Lois should be cynical. She should be someone that questions everything. That's who she should be as a character. So it makes all the sense of the world for her to be that way, and for Superman to be just kind of naive and boyish, like I'm just doing what I feel is right. She's like, yeah, but did you think about this? And did you think about that? Did you think about this? And he's just like, well, no, why would I think about that?
Mm. Because during that whole scene, you kind of want to be on his side because he's not wrong, but she's also not wrong. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah,
makes it tough, man.
yeah. All of her questioning is very reasonable, very logical.
Hmm.
And I think that's why it works. I think everything she does throughout the movie is very logical. Even her hesitancy to be in a relationship, um, her being very cynical about relationships and friendship and all of these other things. That should be who Lois is. She shouldn't be somebody that's quick to trust anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think she's great. You know, we're and kids, we're not trying to compare too much. It's just gonna come up. It's just gonna come up.
Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's main event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com.
But like Margot Kidder is like the defining Lois Lane. I think Brosnahan is and no one's here to say anyone's better per se, but I think she is I think she's the right Lois for right now. She
Mhm.
doesn't seem to have personal hangups, but she is just as driven and ambitious and thankfully isn't getting herself into weird, wacky trouble like the Margot Kidder Lois always did. But I just think she's the right person moving forward, dude. I think she's really good here.
Yes. I love that she keeps questioning like ethical things and she acts like a journalist. Like all
Yeah.
of the stuff in the newsroom and some of the stuff she says, yeah. Like when she like she immediately challenges him like, wait, you interview yourself? How does
Right.
that work?
Right.
Uh or even when she's in the newsroom and he's walking around, and because this is never really mentioned in most adaptations of Superman, and they're like, Clark, you're such a basic writer, and that fits with who Superman should be as well, because Superman wouldn't have like these wordy uh huge articles with all of this stuff that speaks above the reader. He would try to speak in a conversational tone in a way that gets readers to understand him with by saying less. And so of course somebody's like, why don't you use adverbs?
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything he does as a writer, just like what he does as Superman, should be straightforward.
Yeah. Straightforward. No, it's just black and white, the whole thing. Yeah. Very black and white. No shades of gray. Yeah. It's important. Again, like I think the combo of them on screen is great. I think that Lois and Clark have to fit together. And I think it's important that they look the part, that standing next to each other, you can kind of picture them, which it's okay if they're not quite there, but I think they look great together, and I think they fit very well for sure. And I'm going to jump to this Ultraman stuff real quick because I've heard people who gave the movie great review, like a great, and they loved it, but the Ultraman thing really let them down. I don't really have a polarizing take on the Ultraman thing because I'm not really, ooh, I hated it or ooh, I loved it. I'm okay with it. It didn't ruin anything for me, but it also didn't make anything better either. Do you have like a take on this Bizarro Ultraman thing that I mean, am I missing something? What did you think about it?
I was fine with it. I thought it was a great reveal.
Hmm.
Um, I thought that I thought it worked. It didn't really take me out of it. I thought it was a good way to give Lex uh, a big weapon on his side to use against Superman.
Mhm.
Um, and I thought the way they took him off the board made sense. But even more than that, it sets up Superboy
It does set up Superboy, doesn't it?
because now we already know that Lex has been tinkering with cloning.
Yep.
And so now, when we basically get the version of Superboy that has been the version of comics from the Teen Titans run and so on, it's now going to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Connor Kent. That'll be interesting. Ultraman is going through the black hole, and we're pretty sure he's going to end up in a bizarro world, or something where everything's warped and twisted. Which it makes sense. I mean, do you envision like for a part two that Bizarro is maybe not the primary villain, but at least the number two, perhaps?
I could see him coming back. I also could see this as like a weirdo way for them to set up Bizarro or something like that. Like he ends up, spoiler alert, sucked into the black hole and coming back deformed.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. The good news is, Phil, they've planted a lot of seeds here for future movies, not just in the Superman trilogy or quartet or whatever this is going to end up being, but in a Batman film, The Brave and the Bold, and all this other stuff that they're going to do. Those seeds have been sown, um, which is great. Let's talk about his found family in the Justice Gang, which is a great running joke because when they first say it, you're like, Justice Gang, what are we doing? But it's great. Nathan Fillion in another lifetime, in another universe, is Hal Jordan. He is Green Lantern. That god awful Ryan Reynolds movie never happened. And they waited till the right time, gave him an actual suit, and he is Green Lantern. We're not going to get that world. We're not in that universe. But who would have thunk that he's going to bring Guy Gardner to life? I thought he was great, man. I mean, funny dude. I just thought he was the perfect guy for this part.
Yeah, I agree. If we got the Booster Gold movie that I wanted years ago, he would have been a lead in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was great here. Um, it's not the first time he's worked with James Gunn, of
Hmm.
course. He fit perfectly with James Gunn's style of humor. Um, I think that he pulled off everything that we know about Guy from the comics, including his bad haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
At first, when I saw the stills, I was like, I don't know about this wig. But in the movie, I was like, oh, no, he looks great. Um, but I thought that he pulled off all of those things well. Um, big dumb oath with like that means well. That's what guys should be. This guy that wants to be in a leadership position, but he's not quite right for that position. That fits as well. Um, I love because, like I said, they already set up so much building with this. They already set up the connection to Maxwell Lord. I was like, great. Hopefully that leads to Ted Cord and some more things.
Mm,
Hopeful, and of course we know Guy specifically from JLI, and so I thought that that was a great way to set up some of those things as well. Using the building that, of course, is famous from Super Friends.
very good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Um, even multiple times where um, Superman just said, "I have some friends." I was like, I love that. As somebody that's old and remembers Super
Super
Friends,
friend. Yeah,
it's
for
great.
sure. Yeah. Well done. What's cool is that Fillion, part of the idea that he has no filter, he apparently took some of the inspiration from Estelle Getty's Sophia on the Golden Girls, which is great. Just says what he wants. Uh, I was a little upset with this Justice Gang because I'm like, you're going to sit there and not help. Like, the Justice League thing's not getting started off on the right foot, guys. What are we doing? But man, they really came through in the end. And dude, that kid out there raising that flag put tears in your eyes when they're chanting Superman's name. Oh my God. But then when they showed up, guys like, yeah, Superman couldn't make it, kid. Yeah, but we're here. So it was awesome, man. Very
Yeah.
cool.
And that's what I would hope Superman should represent in the world. He should inspire hope in people, but he should
Yes.
inspire all of the metahumans and supers around him to want to be better. That's what he should be. He should be this big symbol for people to get behind.
Well said. Yeah, he absolutely should be. The other, and we could say that maybe he outshined Guy, Eddie Gathegi as Michael Holt slash Mr. Terrific. This guy, let me ask you a question. How in the world do you steal the show in a movie that has Superman in it? And the name of the movie is Superman. Dude, Mr. Terrific stole the show from me. He was effing great, man.
But this is another trick out of the James Gunn playbook. He's done this a few times where he takes a small supporting character and he makes them the guy that we really like.
Yeah.
When Mr. Terrific goes to the camp and Lois is watching him do this thing, I immediately thought of Guardians and like how great Michael Rooker is in that movie, and it's the same. It's the same playbook, but man, as a big fan of Mr. Terrific, I've been wanting to see him in a live action movie for years, and man, how well he was brought to life here with the T spears and everything, all of his tech, the fact that he's the smartest guy in the room, all of that was perfect. His look and everything, perfect, and great casting. He absolutely stole the show. Is one of the most likable characters in this movie because he's intelligent, he's competent, and he's just kind of like straightforward. Of like, wait a minute, yeah, bring that dog here. Like, get this dog out of here.
And Crypto's flying right at him and his reaction to it and everything. Freaking
Come
great,
on, man. Those things are expensive.
Right. Yeah. 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 When you were talking about the way Gunn will put a character in there that we end up falling in love, I thought about Rocket. Like,
Yes,
we shouldn't have loved Rocket. Rocket should have been like, oh, it's a CG raccoon. I don't care about this. But dude, Bradley
Rocket's
Cooper as Rocket was great, man.
Rocket's the star of that franchise.
He is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna be straight with you, man. I mean, I'm sure some things have to happen before we get there. But if Mr. Terrific doesn't get at least a streamer, maybe on HBO Max, I think we're doing this all wrong. Because I think there's enough here for him to actually lead a series. I'd be interested to see something like that.
Absolutely. If we don't get something like that, like a Justice Society or something,
Mm.
it's got to happen, man. But
Oh,
yeah, I immediately thought of Yondu. I was like, this is exactly what he did with Yondu in the
yeah,
Guardians franchise. He took a guy that is like a complete side character and made him one of the most lovable characters of the entire franchise.
yeah, yeah. Really great, really great. Also, for the Justice Gang, we have Hawk Girl. Now, I did not check out Black Adam, so I can't speak to the Hawkman stuff. Don't know how any of that came off. And I've heard some criticism here and there of not of Isabella Merced, the actress, but of the fact that every time we saw Hawk Girl on camera, she's doing that scream. I mean, we're establishing who the character is. I thought she was actually really, really good here, and I think she fits with the team. I'm glad that we got her. I'm glad that Gunn went for an eclectic mix of who this new Justice League is going to be in this universe. I mean, I thought all that stuff clicked together quite well, and I thought she was a great addition to this team too.
Yeah, I think one of the bittersweet things about the Black Adam movie and how poorly it was received is that um, I they did such a great job with so many characters in that movie outside of Black Adam. I thought the Black Adam ended up being fine. I would have liked to seen more of Rock in a row, but uh, the real big what if from that movie is Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. He is
Mm.
fantastic in that movie. I
Mm.
would even venture to say I would recommend to watch it just for Dr. Fate. He's so
Oh.
good in it. And it made me hate that we are never going to see that Dr. Fate again.
Well, James Gunn, man, they could always I mean, dude, he's flat out said that he would love to offer Henry Cavill a role in the new DCU as somebody else.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There are things that happen in the movie that also means we probably won't see Doctor Fate again. Uh,
Oh, I
but
see.
yeah, but man, Doctor Fate is great in it. I thought the guy that they got to play Hawkeye also was great. He had great chemistry with Pierce Brosnan. That kind of version of Justice Society that they were building in that movie, even Adam Smasher, they were great.
Mm.
Um, but we're never going to get the Justice Society movie we were probably going to get, or B more of Black Adam. But but I digress. I thought Hawkgirl was great here. She kind of reminded me of the version of Supergirl we got in the Flash movie, where I really liked that Supergirl, and then
Mm.
I was just like, another version we'll never see again. Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
and so I thought she was great here. I thought they did enough to make her interesting. Um, Again, I could see the connective tissue they're starting to build with uh, fleshing out the Justice League and having this version of Green Lantern here. And if you watch the Justice League cartoon, it immediately made me think, oh, are we going to see how are we going to see any of the other Lanterns here? Hawkgirl had a relationship with a Green Lantern in the cartoon.
Mm.
Hopefully that would play out here. Um, I want to see a good Jon Stewart on film. I hope that this TV show that's happening means that's going to happen. But Jon Stewart is not a hard character to get on screen. Just make this happen, DC, please.
Well, if rumors prove true, Nathan Fillion is going to show up in the Lantern series, so there's going to be some crossover happening.
Oh, cool, great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Looking forward to that Lantern show. Hopefully, it's good.
Oh, me too. Oh my God, I think it's going to be great. Like how the Hal Jordan character supposedly is. I won't say on his way out, but he's kind of done, and it's really John Stewart's vehicle. Like Hal's in it, but it's kind of I don't know if it's a passing the torch kind of thing, but. You were talking earlier about how this movie is already an established universe. We've already got things set up. You're walking into a story that is currently in the middle of happening. Like it's not, there's no setup because you don't need setup. I personally love that.
Me too.
Like, dude, I think that was the right call. I don't think going back and starting everything over from scratch, we don't need to do that anymore, man. I think that's another one of the reasons why this movie works so well.
Yeah, I love the little bit of exposition we got at the beginning of the movie that sets up that Superman isn't the first metahuman,
Mhm.
and that metahumans have existed already, and that they set up the timeline. I thought all of that worked perfectly well, and that sets up a world where Hal Jordan could have been Green Lantern for years before this, and that
Mm.
John Stewart's just now showing up, or there could have been a Flash before this.
Well done. Yeah, that way we've already got all that established continuity. Does Superman get his butt kicked too much in this movie?
Uh, no, and I think for me, especially as a kid growing up, that was partially why Superman was hard to get into because he seemed too powerful.
Yes.
He seemed too perfect, and I love that Superman bleeds here. I love that he has vulnerabilities here. I love that he just doesn't win every fight easily because that gets boring.
Yeah. Christopher Reeve, you know the line I'm thinking of, right?
Blood.
Blood. My blood. Yeah. Yeah. Because he'd never seen it before. But yeah, you get the feeling this Superman's been bloodied before a time or two, at least.
Yes, I love that we see the suit burned, and it's not just like perfectly clean and bright
Yeah.
for the entire movie. I think that that's great.
I mean, he's flawed. And we've never reviewed the Flash show. Maybe we'll tackle that one day. But I've often said that they found a way to make the Grant Gustin Flash the Peter Parker of the DC extended universe at that time because they didn't have anybody that fit. Because Barry Allen's life is a train wreck, and it got worse. Nothing got better when he got powers. Everybody he loves is in danger. Everything he does, he makes so many bad decisions in that show. He eventually figures it out, but it's a work in progress. And I'm like, this is Peter Parker.
Hmm.
Dude, I came away from this movie feeling like this was the closest to Peter Parker I had ever seen Superman ever be. Ever. Like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I can see that. There are definitely things that outright make him Superman. I love that when he when he's getting frustrated with Lois in their conversation, it's because he's getting frustrated that she won't just see his black and white view of the world.
Mm,
And the way he storms out, it's like because he doesn't know how to disarm her with his words. He's uncomfortable being in an argument because I mean at its core, Superman isn't a confrontational person. He's not a
right.
confrontational character, and so he's uncomfortable with the idea that this feels like it's turning into an argument.
Yeah, it's and plus, after that happens, she's basically saying, what was it she said? I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what I'm doing here, or something like that.
I knew this wouldn't work,
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah,
And you know what I love is that like a typical insecure guy. What do you mean? What's that mean? I don't. What's that? It's really bothering him because he's falling in love with her.
yeah. What does that mean? I can't. Well, yeah. I'm just gonna walk out because I don't know what
Yes,
else to do.
right, right. Because it's too much. Like I don't know how to respond. This is yeah. I gotta go.
Yeah. I this is probably a divisive scene as well, but when the Justice Gang are fighting the interdimensional imp, which I don't think that that was a coincidence that they called it that. That
Mm,
Mentis Plix's
yep,
reference.
yep.
Um, so when they're out there fighting the imp, and he's and all of you can still see it from his window, and they're having a conversation the whole time. I thought that was hilarious,
That's
and I'm sure
great.
some people did not think it was funny, but he's just kind of like, they don't need my help with this one.
Yeah, they're good.
And the whole time he's just like nonchalantly, like, I'll just turn myself in, like, because in his mind, I'm trying to save the dog, but it's like I'm Superman. What could they really do to me? They can't really harm me. They can't really contain me. I'll just let them think they can lock me up for now just so I can figure out where the dog is. Of course, he doesn't know that Lex is going to lure him to a pocket dimension.
Well, you gave us a segue here because we have Metamorpho in this movie, kids. This is Anthony Kerrigan as Rex Mason. Rex Mason, also known as Metamorpho. Another criticism I heard, Phil, was that they didn't handle this character correctly. This is not who Metamorpho is, and I'm thinking, guys, it's a movie. Calm down. If you don't like it, go
Yep.
read your books. Jesus H. But I thought he was great here, and the baby thing. We got a CG alien baby or hybrid alien baby here,
A lot of
Phil.
a
This
lot of
thing
CG
could,
babies.
yeah,
Let's start
this thing
there.
could have looked absolutely ridiculous. Dude, when it cried, it breaks your heart because you're like, oh my God, please don't hurt the baby. It's freaking great, man. I can't believe they managed to pull that off here.
Yes, but again, fantastic world building they did in this movie.
Yeah.
When Superman walks in the building and he's upset about the footage that Lex has leaked to the press, walks into the building, and he leans on to the desk that is for Stag Industries. Of course, it's
Yeah.
linked
Really
to
good.
Metamorpho. They don't do any of Metamorpho's origin, which I think is intentional. They have a lot of plate spinning in this movie, so it'd have been hard to really get into the lore behind Metamorpho and really set up the ethos of this character. So I can understand why some people feel they were shortchanged, but I just don't think they had all the time to get there. Um, but I think just in terms of like this portrayal of Metamorpho, how he used his powers and everything, I thought that part in it was great.
Great. And when he saw the murder, that was too much for him. And kids, we're referencing the murder of the character Malik Ali, portrayed by Dinesh Tharagajan. Man, I don't want to butcher his name. He's great, by the way, this actor. Freaking great. But when he's killed, like Metamorpho is really bothered by this and he's very emotional. He's upset. And he's like, I didn't know they were going to do this, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, great
Um,
stuff.
yeah, but again, this is just the beauty of Superman and his impact on the world. Um, because Lex cannot understand why people connect with him so much. They cannot understand why people love this guy so much.
Hmm.
But this is a guy that willingly basically gave his life for Superman because he believed in him that much. Because he saved his life once. That was all it took. He saved his life once, and it
Yeah.
wasn't just that. Superman knew his name. It wasn't like he was just some faceless guy in the crowd that he saved and placed back on the sidewalk and flew away. He knew him. He was a patron of his business. And again, that's just what makes Superman special. He's not just some guy that just like shows up and does things and disappears. He's among us. He stays among the people.
Dude, when Lex is putting that gun to his head and Clark or Superman screaming no, and he's like, it's okay. I don't have a family, right? He's telling him it's okay. And I'm thinking, he's preparing to be killed here. Phew,
Yeah.
man, that got heavy really quick, dude.
Very heavy. Again, that's just how much he believed in him when he was just like, it's okay. It was an honor to serve you. You saved
Oh
my
my
life
God.
once.
Ooh, I can't talk about it, man. It'll get me emotional. God bless, that's heavy.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between Lex and Superman. Lex is just looking at this guy like, oh, he's just some faceless uh cart driver or some food truck guy that I killed, whatever. And Superman knew his name. He knew him. He was like, no, he was my friend.
Yeah.
And I mean, even this is just how short-sighted and tunnel vision he's got when he's like, I'll find somebody else that you love and I'll kill them. Maybe I'll get that Clark Kent guy. This is the most intelligent guy in the entire movie. And he doesn't stop to think it at all. These are the same people because he can't see it. He doesn't see people as people. He sees people as things to be used.
Well said. He's the smartest guy here. And like all this money, all this tech, creating pocket dimensions, but he can't see past his own nose to see what's right in front of him.
No. No.
Mm, freaking great. Man. We talked about Supergirl earlier. This is Millie Alcock. And again, I wasn't anti at all. But I'm like, Supergirl, we're going to tackle all that right off the bat. Again, sign me up. I wish it was coming out tomorrow. I go see it multiple times because I think she's going to crush, man. I think that movie's hopefully going to be great.
Yeah. I was a big fan of the CW show as well.
I was too. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I will say this for me, the Supergirl kind of fell victim to what Legends of Tomorrow kind of fell victim to was every episode became about who the characters are dating. And I'm like, I get it, it's CW, but guys,
Mhm.
you know, these shows are successful because you got hardcore comic book fans who are watching religiously, and you're not giving us what we want. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if any of that fed into anything else, but I watched I don't know how many seasons of that show until I just stopped because it seemed like every episode was less and less and less about the heroics and about the story and more about this character's dating this person and that, I'm like, at some point, I'm like, yeah, there's no balance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Melissa was a great Supergirl though. I thought that they
Great.
got the casting perfect for her.
Yes.
I think if anything, once I started falling off with most of the CW shows was when it became crossover fatigue. All of the shows have to cross over. It always had to be this big, massive event that gets them to this point, and then we get back to it being its own weekly show for now.
Mhm.
And I just kind of it just felt like a lot to keep up with sometimes.
See, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the Crisis crossover and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. When they had Barry and they had Ollie switching roles, that was very different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was kind of here for that, but yeah, I was okay with that. Speaking of cameos, freaking John Cena as Pacemaker or Peacemaker, excuse me. Great. Oh my God. He's like, oh, this guy's a chump. He doesn't kill anybody. Like this is wonderful, man.
Great cameo. I love that, especially giving what we know he thinks of the Justice League from the Peacemaker show. I love that he's the first person to show up. Like, I knew that guy was bad. I told you guys all along. I'm a real hero. See, and wait, what? He doesn't kill people. He's not edgy like the rest of us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it was uncredited cameo was Cena. So yeah. really great. We figure, kids, if you know anything about James Gunn, you know that his brother Sean is in everything that he does. So Sean does show up as Maxwell Lord. I hope this is not a throwaway bit, and I hope that because dude, Sean Gunn's a good actor in his own right,
Mhm.
and I think that they need to not let go of this. He absolutely needs to be Maxwell Lord moving forward for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully we see more of Maxwell Lord with the part he plays in the comics with the JLI, and of course stuff that he does that plays into Identity Crisis and other books. I hope that this is a character we keep seeing.
For sure, yeah. We also had Will Reeve, son of the late great Christopher Reeve, as we've been discussing quite a bit here as a GBS news reporter. So that was pretty cool that he was here. We also have
I was waiting for you to come with the Wonder Woman 1984 joke.
no, I did not. What am I missing?
I thought it was coming. I thought you were coming. Maxwell Lord, we need you to give up the stones.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me remember that, aren't you?
Because I see that clip all the time with people making fun of Gal Gadot's acting. It pops up on my
Oh,
timeline all the time.
I'm starting to kind of feel bad for her because man, people are really bashing her lately.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah, it's
Kal-El, no.
yeah. Well, stop it. Now you're gonna make me like bash her too. Oh God. Yeah, okay, fine, fine. All right, it's tough. It's tough to watch. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
tough to watch.
yeah. I funny enough, also off off topic, but apparently Pedro Pascal hated the way he looked so much in that movie without facial hair that
Yep.
he's like, I don't want to do any more movies without some kind of facial hair.
I saw that. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Which one of the first things I remember him from was a younger Pedro Pascal and Buffy the Vampire Slayer without facial hair.
Oh, wow, that's going back.
Yeah, he was one of the vampires in one episode.
Nice. I know very little about that show. I never got into Buffy, dude. I never got into it.
Classic show.
Was it like a villain of the week like Law& and Order was, where it was, like, different characters all the time?
Yes, sort of.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, they're bringing that back too. Um,
Very controversial figure, but um, if you've watched any of the things that Joss Whedon is popular for,
mm,
like all of his pastiche and all of his tropes are there in that show.
yeah, and, they're bringing it back, but I'm not sure. I think, she's involved to a degree,
Yes.
but I don't know, the main slayer is gonna be somebody else, so, I believe. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We were talking earlier about Michael Rosenbaum. He actually voices one of Luther's Raptor guards.
How
Uh,
cool.
yeah, which is cool. They fit him in. And one of Superman's, I'm calling him a robot for lack of a better word, I guess, um, which I'm sure there's probably a better word. Alan Tudyk.
Of
Ca-
course.
Dude continues to be great. Even though you never see him on camera, he's great.
I'm assuming he voices number 4.
Yes.
That makes sense. And that's all straight from that version from the comics with the robots at the Fortress of Solitude.
Mhm.
Uh, I love that the robots were included. I love that because Superman cares about all living beings, including the robots that help him. Um, he was upset that they destroyed the robots.
Yes, big time. Yes, because they had become like his family through the years. And here's this is good. Not only Alan Tudyk was one of the bots. Michael Rooker is here,
Of course.
and Palm Clementif, excuse me, from as Mantis. She's back here as well. So Tudyk is number 4. Rooker is 1. And Clementif is number 5, and Grace Chan is the voice of number 12. So there you go. And then we have to mention James Gunn's dog stood in for Crypto.
Yeah. I loved Crypto throughout the movie. I love
Great.
that Crypto is it's not like Crypto is like this loyal dog that does everything Superman. He's kind of a nuisance throughout the movie.
Yes.
he, he was great.
Guess dog's not even a very good one. That's really great. That line is great.
Yeah.
Not even a very good one. Tom Clark's 6M podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark's 6M podcast sent you. You know what I love is that when he fights back, when they enter the fortress, like, and he makes impact, it is obvious that he hurts. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can absolutely take you out because he can hit you that hard.
Yeah, he clearly does not have control of himself. He's a dog. And so, yeah, but I love how they play up the gags about like crypto is like aloof and he's like out of control. But um, when the engineer like looks like she killed him, I was like, oh no, not the dog, leave him alone.
Right. Because, buddy, I was holding my breath. I'm like, if they've killed crypto in this freaking movie, man, they killed crypto, we riot. I don't know. But Maria Gabriela de Ferrara is Angela Spiker or the engineer.
Yeah, I thought her powers were really cool. I thought the way that they did the CGI and stuff for her was awesome. The way her and Ultraman fought in tandem and the main fight at the end of the movie was also really cool.
Yeah. People upset at that because they said, well, she's supposed to be from the authority. I'm like, oh my God, stop criticizing. I'm going to be straight with you. A lot of the criticism, not a lot, but some of the criticisms I'm telling you about today came from a podcast that I typically listen to that I won't name. But man, they weren't going off. They were nitpicking. I'm like, guys, this isn't a comic book. What you're seeing on the screen isn't a comic book. It's an adaptation of the comic book. It doesn't have to be 100% just like the comic book.
I mean, like, everybody's gonna have their preference.
Sure.
We love these things. We're beholden to the books, and uh, we're beholden to our first introduction to these characters. So for a lot of us, it's the books, and the movies will never be as good as the books. I guess that's part of me getting older and mellowing out is that I used to be one of those guys like, no, it has to be like the book. It has to be this. And if it's not like the book, it's wrong. And it's just like, it's a movie. It's going to be different. It cannot be the same as the book. It's never going to be as good. It's okay.
Never. Yeah. Never going to be the same. We also have Sarah Sampaio as Eve Tessmacher.
Miss Tessmacher.
Miss Tessmacher? Yeah, you can't say it without doing it. I love that she loves Jimmy and Jimmy's not having it. It's like the funniest bit in the movie to me, man.
Yes. I believe that's kind of a trope from the cartoon and somewhat the comics that Jimmy's kind of a ladies' man, kind of
Yes.
an unreluctant ladies' man.
Yes.
I think that's very, very funny. Yeah, I thought that this version of Jimmy was great. I thought that was great casting as well.
Skylar Gazondo from the Righteous Gemstones.
Yes. The the interactions between him and Tessmacher were great. The way she plays off Lex also great. When he gets mad at her and he's throwing the pencils at her, that's it. That's the last straw. How dare he? And then she goes into a broom closet. and her whole scheme of how she catches him in act is all of her selfies, also very funny.
Oh man, she did all of that because she was documenting what was happening. Oh my God, that was brilliant, dude.
Yes, but it's also another depiction of how Lex thinks he's so much smarter than everybody else that he wouldn't think at all that she would outsmart him because to him she's an idiot.
Right.
Because everybody is beneath him.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that is like somebody that's around now. I'm just saying.
I mean, definitely some allusions to him and the stuff with the geopolitical stuff and how he very much behind the scenes was a puppet and a traitor to his country. Very close to some current events.
I agree with that. Speaking of part of the traitor in the country and all that stuff, at least in this movie, Frank Grillo is here, and he's the Argus director, Rick Flag Sr. We're not quite sure, Phil, if he's a good guy or a bad guy. He seems okay, but then he was part of the crew that's arresting Superman, basically just saying, without saying, I had nothing to do with this. This wasn't my call, or whatever it was he kind of alludes to. But I don't know if we quite know if he's a good guy or a bad guy or not.
I mean, it's Frank Grillo. We immediately think Crossbones, so we
Sure.
immediately want to make him a bad guy. But of course, that we got our first interactions with him and Jack Flag from the Suicide Squad movie, so I'm assuming that plays back to that. And the idea of can we trust him or not, I'm sure that's to set up stuff with potentially Amanda Waller and another version of Suicide Squad.
Maybe so. That'd be interesting. See, we did not mention we mentioned Clark's adopted parents. That's Ron Trope and Pruitt Taylor Vance. I'm sorry, Pruitt Taylor Vance and Neva Howe. We'll get it. Here is Jonathan and Martha Kent. Really, really great. As we said before.
Why did you say that name?
Yes. By the way, we mentioned Bradley Cooper earlier. We have yet to address this, and we've gone an hour and some change. What did you think about Gunn's move to say that Jor-El and Lara wanted Clark to rule the planet? The harem joke was weird. I don't know why they fixated on that. They ran a couple of different jokes on that. What do you think about that? Was it too much, or do you think that this plants some seeds for some interesting things later on?
I think it plants seeds for things later on. I think it makes sense for an alien, and two people from another planet to be very cold about, because it's a very naive thing to think like, oh well, they just sent their alien son here to be a good person and to protect this planet. No, he's the last living Kryptonian, and so it's not just go to Earth and survive, it's go to survive and be the person that brings back the Kryptonian race, because you're the last of it. And so the hero part of it, I think, when you look at it on the nose as this disgusting, vile act of him just having multiple wives and just using women, no, I think they mean like repopulate the Kryptonian race. Which is a very logical thing for them to think, because, like I said, he's the last survivor. So I don't think they're doing it from their point of view in a malicious way. They think they're sending him to a place where he will be the most powerful being on this planet. There's nobody that can threaten him, and not so much subjugate everybody, but we're putting you on an inhabitable planet where you can repopulate our race and start from scratch. And I get it from their point of view, but of course, as an Earthling, it plays into every fear we think about aliens.
Yes.
And in a more current event way, it plays into all people's fears about foreigners in general. I've said before many times, a big part of what Americans fear about foreigners coming to this country is that they're going to come in and colonize this country the way that we did, or the way that white people came here as settlers and did. And so, of course, their fear of an alien would be that he's going to come here and attempt to colonize.
Yes.
That also, like the whole harem thing, there's this weird sexualization of foreigners as well. That is very much a thing. That
I know where you're going. Yeah.
They're going to come here and sleep with our women and take our women. And that's what they were playing into here. A lot of the stuff around that and the stuff that is played up from the found footage and the way that it's talked about on the news is very much xenophobia. It's a version of xenophobia.
And this came from a white guy that wrote this movie. Like, that's very bold that Gunn has the awareness, the wherewithal to include that because he knows that that's a trigger. Like, man, it's an even smarter move, I think, here, man. What a thing to do.
I mean, just think about the way that black men in general are fetishized.
Hmm.
It's a smart way to go. And then you also have um, the geopolitical stuff happening that is very much allusion to the conflict in Gaza with the Palestinians and Israel.
Mhm.
Like, I think there's no way that there is not an allusion to that. And I think there's multiple things here about, uh, colonizing. That is a theme throughout the movie. And if people are upset about that whole political aspect being in this movie, it's a big part of the world we live in right now.
Yeah.
In a time where refugees are coming to this country and coming to other countries, yeah, you have to talk about the fear that a lot of Americans have of foreigners coming into this country.
Mm. Yeah, and the country Moravia is the big bad here.
Yes. And the reason why I would say it's clearly an allusion to Israel and Palestine is because they make the point that Moravia has a government that is allies with America and
Yeah.
that has armed forces. The smaller country that they're going up against does not have an army.
Mm. And Jarinpur is the other country.
Yes. Also, Lexus, I love that they snuck in the real estate scam. They snuck
Yes.
in that his overall scheme is to get land for real estate. They snuck it in
Every version of
every
Lex,
time.
even the Smallville version, is obsessed with real estate.
Every time, because of course he is a play off of Trump. So of course, and
Yes.
in real life,
Yes.
that is something that Trump is attempting to do, move his businesses into Israel. That's a part of why he's in bed with Israel. And so to add that to Lex's motives for his alliance with Moravia,
Crazy.
all the illusions are there. People will be mad at it, but it's something that's happening in real life.
Well, again, like as I said at the beginning of this one, if you're offended, it's kind of on you, right? Like, there's a reason why when you call out hypocrisy, people who are guilty of it get mad.
Yeah. I mean, even if you want to get into some more of why they're upset, just think about Lex's main core issue with Superman. People love you, but you're not even from here.
Mm.
People voted for this black guy, but he's not even from here. I mean, people are not going to like those illusions, but people have been making allusions to megalomatic, rich villains to Trump for over 30 years.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be even more so now with Trump because his presence in pop culture, his presence in the world is even bigger.
Yeah.
And people aren't going to like it, but it is what it is. I thought all of this stuff was great, but I think having the news cycle play up xenophobia made a lot of sense. And for Lex, that is the smartest way in his mind to get people on his side. I have to make you guys fear this guy. He's a threat to us.
Yeah.
He's not our friend. He's not like us. You guys like that guy because you've humanized him. I now have to dehumanize this guy and make him a threat to you.
Yeah, and like what kills me is that after everyone turns on him, and by the way, Lex having the monkeys,
Love it.
it was the craziest thing ever, but it was so ridiculous and asinine that it fit.
Yeah.
Because that's what social media haters are. These bots and everything. It's a bunch of
Also,
monkeys behind a keyboard, Phil. That's all it is.
also very much plays into current events and how Trump won the election with a
Yes.
bunch of bots and stuff spreading negative information and propaganda about things via social media.
Yep. And you know, like Kevin Smith had an interesting take on that scene. James Gunn used to be one of those guys that couldn't stay off Twitter.
Mm,
And that, because of comments and stuff, he got in trouble and that he was always battling it out. And that maybe James Gunn also put that in there as a means of saying, look, we don't need to be this. This is not necessary. Like,
yes.
it, you know what I mean? Cause like he used to be one of the people that did a lot of that stuff, man.
Yes. Yeah, I think there is something to once you get behind the guise of the internet and anonymity and certain things and how ugly the internet can be.
Mhm.
Um, I love that he talks in first person in an interview. He being Superman, saying Superman doesn't pay attention to social media, and she's just Lois is like, "Yeah, he's speaking in third person now," and
Right.
he's trying so hard to get her to really think he doesn't care about social media, and he clearly does. He clearly sees the things people are saying about
Oh my God. Yeah. Like he's not. Yeah. And he says he's not, but he's very aware. Yeah.
him. And yeah, when she brings up super shit, I hate that one.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's really good. Man, I'll tell you, I had a feeling that this was going to hit.
Yes.
The trailers were Phil. One trailer doesn't mean anything, but 2 to 4 trailers, and each one is hitting and hitting the right notes. You're like, yep, I think this is going to be a hit, buddy. This thing delivered on every level, man. I can't imagine being happier with this film. I can't speak for everybody. We never can, but holy Lord, like I just think this James Gunn's the man. Take all my money because like I'll come see everything that this guy does, and if it's even affiliated with him, I'll see it. But especially for the DC universe, man, this stuff is just
Yeah.
man
I
crazy.
Yeah, I love it. Action packed,
Yeah,
quirky. You get quirky things like them releasing that little small creature that turns into the big kaiju. And it's not like we got to get all this exposition of what the creature was and all this other stuff. It's just like weird um science fiction, comic booky stuff. And
mhm.
I love that. Like the pocket universe, like we get like brief explanations of what it is, but I love that they don't spend any time focusing on all of these things and going like, "Oh, I have to explain to you why this isn't weird." Like, no, in this world, all of this stuff exists.
Yeah, for sure. There's enough here to mirror what's really going on. But look, as we said an hour ago, the comic book's been doing this forever. Much like pro wrestling will mirror, as goofy as pro wrestling is, mirrors what's going on in the world because they want you to be able to relate to it. Comics have been doing it for years. The movies are going to always do it. Like people getting upset over this stuff, I'll never understand it. And it's okay to have your favorite version, but I just don't get the idea of we're going to hate on a thing and rally against it. And
Yeah.
I
Um,
mean, Phil, this movie's made so much money. Do you think that's going to go at least do a certain measure of shutting people up, or you think they're just going to keep going?
no, I think people are always going to have their axe to grind. It's not the movie I want. It's not the type of politics I want. It's not. It's not what I want. So then I'm gonna push against it. Whether it be Snyder fans still pushing for the movie that they want, or people rallying for whatever reason against it, that's not going to do anything.
Hmm.
I think one of the other great things about this movie is how much you can see Grant Morrison's influence here.
Oh, for
There's
sure. Yeah.
there's so many things here that remind me of All Star Superman, um, and I think that's the other thing about how quirky it is that I really like, because this kind of feels like Grant Morrison's level of quirkiness, like weird stuff happening.
Yeah. I was almost waiting for that key, right? The key that only he can lift because it's made of like from a dwarf star, like only he can lift it. I almost expected the key to happen.
Yes. Yeah, that was my first hint that Ultraman was probably a clone when he opened the Fortress of Solitude without trying, and the engineers just like, "Well, how did you do that?" And I was like, "Clearly, he has a Kryptonian with him."
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And I can't say that I knew Ultraman was Bizarro or who would be the clone that would become Bizarro, but like I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably Bizarro in there.
Yeah, but there's so many ways you can go with that version because he's got the long hair. You can
Yeah.
bring him back and do so many versions of Superman. Like I said Bizarro, but I mean, there's so many routes you can go with that if you bring him back.
hmm it's funny how things change because we started this show in 2020, right? It's been that long. You and I have recorded a bunch of these together and other shows too, but mostly this one. But man, remember when DC just could not? I mean, we reviewed the Snyder films here. People can go and listen to them. It's fine. But, you know, and Marvel was hitting on all cylinders. And I'm not going to say that the roles have flipped, but I will say that the level of excitement seems to be with Marvel. We'll wait and see. But with DC, it's become, oh my God, I can't wait till the next thing. Isn't it crazy how all that's kind of played out now?
Yeah, it is. It's crazy how long it took to get this kind of movie with Superman as well.
Yeah.
Um, I was talking to somebody last night, and I said the same thing on social media that I think it's the best Superman movie to date. And the person I was talking to that didn't grow up in the '70s, didn't grow up really with the Donner movies. He was like, I can make the argument that this is the only good Superman movie. And when I really thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, I can understand why someone would feel that way because if you didn't grow up with those movies and you try to go back and look at them now, I can understand feeling like they're dated.
Yeah.
And you're not getting what makes current superhero movies what they are, like the huge action set pieces, all of the big special effects. It just was a different time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, look, I don't want to blow too much smoke up the skirt here because it is just one movie. And I'm not saying this will happen. For all we know, this Supergirl flick could fail miserably.
Yeah.
The Brave and the Bold could be an unmitigated disaster. This entire thing could be a house of cards that could fall at any moment. And I don't think Gunn could possibly be attached to everything. There's only so many hours in the day. But buddy, if he's at least got his hands on it and he's orchestrating, if he's the Kevin Feige of this thing and it's his vision, I mean, Phil, I guess anything can happen, but man, I'm already feeling good about this. I feel like there's bright days ahead for the DCU, man.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely want to see more of this movie. Want to see more of this cast.
Mm.
They did so much in this movie that made me want to see more from this universe, and that's what you would hope for with a big start like this to the franchise.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Well, kids, there you go. There's the Superman film in the can. Yeah, again, there's just lots to look forward to here, folks. I mean, we were hoping with each DC movie that happened, maybe this is the one. Well, maybe this will be the one. Well, maybe this will be the one. None of them were the one. Okay. And, for everybody out there that you're a diehard Snyder fan, I called you a cult member. I apologize. Um, don't want to be too rude. And again, if I don't know that those folks are listening to this one, but you are free to like whatever you want. You want to hate this movie, go ahead. But I will ask you to very sincerely, if you are indeed a comic book fan, please kind of be careful how you tread. And
Yeah.
I say that for this. The more you review bomb, the more you hate, the more you try to get something defeated or to defeat something yourself because your guy's not leading the charge. Understand that they're not bringing him back. Snyder ain't coming back, everybody. I mean, I don't know what y'all are thinking, but he ain't coming back for this. So it's okay to not like Gunn and all that other stuff, but to actively try to defeat this and try to actively shut it down when you want to see comic book movies actually on the big screens in the theaters seems like the dumbest thing you could ever do.
Well, you got to understand that this is, in some ways, their worst nightmare because when the Snyder movies existed and they were so different tonally from Marvel Studios, one of the things that they made fun of the most was James Gunn and constantly having to do the dance scenes and all this stuff in Guardians of the Galaxy. And so for that guy to then take over the DCU, it's the worst possible outcome to them.
Yes.
Um, and so I get that part of it, but you also have to understand, Zack Snyder has made his money. He's gone. He got his attempt. You guys got the attempt at the movies that you wanted.
Mhm,
They didn't do well commercially or critically.
mhm.
And so it's time to move on. If those movies were going to continue, then people would have gone out to support them. And because not enough people enjoyed those movies, they stopped making them.
Exactly right.
That's it. And so you may be able to sit in front of your computer or wherever else and bang this drum that you like those movies better, but um, this is a business, and Warner Brothers had a decision to make when they saw that those movies were not doing well.
Mhm.
And even after those movies did not do well, you still got 4 hours of Justice League on Max.
Yes.
You still got the Snyder cut that you begged for all this time. They still gave you that. If you want this to continue, if you want more, no, it's not happening. It's
Yeah.
over. It's over. Let it go.
And I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to sit here and call one guy our guy or one guy their guy, but I'll say it. Your guy had his moment. That studio backed him, and he can say otherwise, but that's not the case. And to Phil's point, they let him come back and have that big honking movie that was just even more of the same that we'd already seen from this guy. He got every opportunity to right the ship, and he either I'm not going to say he couldn't write it. He did what he wanted. There was nothing to write.
They they gave that guy a lot of money. They gave
Yes,
him the keys to the kingdom, and what he made wasn't well received. That's it.
that's it.
If
Yeah.
these movies are not well received, then they'll do the same thing.
Yep.
They'll pick somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. There's nothing more. That's all.
Yeah.
Cut and
There's
print.
there's nothing insidious about this. There's no the man trying to keep him down.
No.
No. He made movies that people didn't enjoy, and so they went with someone else.
Yep. And God, they went with the right guy. I'm sorry, but James Gunn is
So far, so good. He
yeah.
hasn't missed yet. I was a big fan of the Suicide Squad movie. I think the Peacemaker show was great, and this movie was it. So
Yep.
far, so good.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, one more thing. Soundtrack. Do you like Iggy Pop? Because now I can't get this song out of my head, dude.
I love the connection to Superman and Lois's dynamic, and she's saying, "I'm punk rock, and you're the opposite of that." And he's like, "I'm punk rock," and
Yeah.
she's like, "You are not punk rock at
You are
all."
not punk
And
rock.
even his whole idea of like, maybe not being cynical and trusting people, maybe that's the real punk rock.
Yeah. I love it. I love that Iggy Pop had great things to say as well. That was pretty cool because they asked him about it. And yeah, look, there again, kids, if you hate, maybe you're part of the problem. I'm sorry, but like, it's just a movie. And for those folks that say, I hate this movie, but you know what? It'll be okay. Cool. Thank you so much for being level headed because I
Listen,
do that all the time. I'll hate something and then walk the F away. I could stay with it forever, but mentally, it's not doing me any good. Emotionally, it's not helping me all that much. So I'm just going to walk away.
the best thing you could do is find the things you enjoy in this version of Superman, and if you don't like it, there will be another one. I
Yes.
mean, I was a big fan of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and when they stopped making them and they went with Andrew Garfield's version, I didn't enjoy those movies.
Mm,
And now they're making movies I enjoy. There always will be more movies. If you're not enjoying this movies, there will be some more later. It's fine.
yes.
It's
They,
it's it's not this thing like I have to personally stop these things from being made. No, if you don't do anything, it'll happen on its own.
yes. You don't need to take up arms and lead a crusade against a film.
These things happen in cycles. Like it'll
Yes.
be fine. You might not enjoy these movies, but maybe there'll be some more movies later that you will enjoy.
And you had nothing to do with the film. People get so defensive and protective. I'm like, you didn't have anything to do with this movie. You didn't write it, you didn't produce it, you weren't even a gopher. You didn't get anybody's coffee for him. Why are you so defensive over this movie? Oh,
It's
I don't get it.
it's my personal version that I enjoy, and that's fine. But I think it's so much so on social media that people pick a side and they dig their feet in the sand, and so they can't ever admit either that they're wrong, and I guess wrong is the wrong thing to say here because it's it's subjective,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you're not wrong about your personal taste. It's just
No,
what
not
your
at all.
personal taste is. But once you've dug your feet in the sand and you've been defending this thing for so long, you can never admit afterwards, like, hey, maybe I overreacted. No, because you've been banging this drum for so long, you can't.
Well,
That's it.
it- yes. And it's very similar to conspiracy theorists. It becomes your part of your identity. When you
Yes.
go down the rabbit hole to the point of so and so did this is not how it happened, blah, blah, blah. No matter what the it is, when the truth comes out, you are
Yeah.
still in denial because you have to admit that you are wrong is you're so connected, it means basically admitting defeat and that you were fooled. Because to your point, Phil, people connect so on such a deep personal level to this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think you made the perfect point here that once this becomes part of your identity, and for some people, being a Snyder fan has become a part of their identity. And
Mm,
it's like once this is your identity, you don't know anything else. And so I have to continue to defend this thing. But you got the movies that you wanted. You
yes.
didn't get all the movies that you were hoping for, but um, you got the movies. There's not going to be any more. It's over. Um, that doesn't mean you have to support this, but don't go out of your way to actively make it harder for other people to enjoy it.
And for sure. And here's what I'll say. I've made it very clear that I am not a fan of this Michael Bay Transformers debacle. Okay. And now he's coming back. But here's what I'll tell you. I don't bother with it because it's not the Transformers I grew up with, and I don't want anything to do with it. He thumbed his nose at the fans, at the entire franchise in the first movie. I'm out. Okay. That Bumblebee movie was fine. I'm not watching the rest of it. I don't want to, and I don't need to. But here's what I'll tell you, Phil. Whether it's 5 years from now or 10 or 20, someone else is going to come along with a love of that 80s cartoon
Yes.
and say, you know what? Let's do this right. Let's do this right. He's going to pitch it to his studio. Studio's going to say, F yes, let's go, baby, let's go. And they're going to do it. And you're going to be like, my God, I feel like I'm watching the cartoon again. And it's going to be that faithful. It'll happen eventually. And hopefully I'm still around to be able to see it happen, Phil. I got my fingers crossed. So
Yeah, I heard a lot of people like the Transformers One movie. I didn't see it, but I heard good things about it.
mm,
Um, and that's what it is. I mean, as a comic book reader, I'm used to this. You start a run of somebody else's book with a new writer and artist. Hey, maybe this isn't for me. I'll wait till they leave and somebody else picks it up.
right. Exactly
And
right.
um, you're not always gonna like everything. I hope nobody here thinks that that's what we're sitting here preaching. That hey, you have to like everything and you have to support everything. No, you don't. If it's very easy to say this is not for me. I don't enjoy this. But what I don't understand is saying this is not for me even before you watch it and then deciding that nobody should support this. Like,
Yes.
no, that's just what you personally don't want to do. If you don't want to support it, that's fine. But actively trying to review bomb things and harm other people's enjoyment is ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Well, we'll end on that great positive note, kids. That everybody needs to calm the f down. No, but again, we speak out of love for the genre. I don't think it's about because if I attacked people that did that, I'm no better than they are. So I'm not trying to attack anybody. I know you're not either. It's just a matter of it's just tiring. It's exhausting to constantly have to see these comments like, "Oh, I bet if they changed him this color." Stop. It
Uh,
doesn't matter. This is not real. It's okay that Perry White, who we didn't mention, is played by an African American, Wendell White, right? Uh, he's great. He didn't get to do much.
legendary actor. And I thought he was great here.
I did too. And it's okay that he's black. Everybody needs to calm down.
Well, he was black in the last iteration, right? Because Lawrence Fishburne played him, right?
Very good. I totally forgot about Lawrence Fishburne. Yep. Yep. For
Uh,
real. But
but yeah,
it's
no, he's great here. I love I love the casting for all of the people at the Daily Planet. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah. You know who we didn't you know how long this show is? Man, we didn't even mention Cat Grant either.
Yes.
Um, let's see. Here's what I'll tell you. And man, I'm not trying to sound like a typical dude, but buddy, her outfit left very little to the imagination. But I'm not saying you need to do that. I kind of like they did that because that's the character, right?
Yeah.
That's who she is. Michaela Hoover was Cat Grant, by the way. I kind of really like that, man. Like they're staying true to who the characters are. They could have just, she could have looked like anything or anybody, but they're like, nope, this is Cat. To me, I'm like, yep, that's Cat Grant right there. That's who that is. So there you go. We also didn't mention Vic Bennett as Steve Lombard. We'll do better next time. But yeah, we left those two folks out. Well, kids, there you have it. There is the Superman film. Lots more to come here on the 6M as always. But Phil, before we get out of here, let's get your last word on Superman.
Great movie. Can't say enough good things about the casting, the heart, the writing, the effects, the action. Just really, really great movie. To me, I really do believe this is the best Superman movie ever made. I know that might feel like hyperbole, but um, given some of the adaptations we've gotten of Superman so far, I don't think it was even that high of a bar to get over, to be honest.
I agree with that. Here's my last word. Dean Cain can suck it. Hey, I'm sorry. I could have went blue with that, but I kept it clean. Dude, enough with this guy. Okay. You are no longer Superman, and we could argue you were never Superman. Get over yourself. You don't speak for all of us.
Which, by the way, I just looked this up because I wasn't sure if I was right about this or not. Because we didn't talk about Cat Grant. Did you realize the great Easter egg that is here?
I don't know. What is it?
Don't know if you remember, but when the original Guardians of the Galaxy came out, the assistant that was standing next to Nova Prime, very good looking woman, and after that movie, people were like, "Who's that? Who is that woman?" That is our Cat Grant.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. I did not know that. Well, James Gunn, man, we gotta have to make friends with James Gunn, Phil, so we can get some of these movies. Man, I like that he keeps it all in the family. That's very cool. And also, his wife is the voice of one of the robots at the end of the film as well, Jennifer Holland. Telling you, even his dog, everybody, I'm telling you, I need a new best friend. So maybe we'll make that happen. Well, kids, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks as always for listening, subscribing, downloading, following, all that good stuff. Stay tuned for a lot more on Boink Studios YouTube. We appreciate it very much. And we'll be back here very soon with another episode. And in case we didn't mention it, we did cover the Snyder stuff, and we did cover the original Superman trilogy with Christopher Reeve. Go check those out if you will, and lots of other Marvel and DC stuff here in the archives. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And again, we'll be back real soon. But until then, that is Superman. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at 6M Podcast. We'll see you next time.